90% of Americans recently reported that money is a major stressor for them. And beyond America, all around the world, women are struggling and being kept up late at night because of money. And I would love to ask, do you feel like it's something that keeps you up at night? That you spend a lot of time and energy thinking about your finances and where you're at, where you're not at, feeling behind, confused, frustrated? If so, you're not alone. And today's conversation is all about how to stop worrying about your money and some strategies to help you have peace of mind. So, by the end of this video, my goal is for you to feel a little bit better about your financial situation and have some tangible tools to, keep moving forward in your process of creating financial freedom. Just like my student, Jacquees, who during a time where she was getting divorced and becoming a single mom of a toddler daughter, she was able to have peace of mind in her finances because of the things that we're going to talk about today. And so, these are the same things that I personally used in my journey to create financial freedom and to constantly grow in my financial journey. And we've tested and proved with so many women from all over the world. So I hope that they give you some solace, some level of woosah for the next few minutes as we dive into how to help you worry less. So I would first love to ask, what is it that you are worried about in particular? Go in the comments and share with me, please, in detail, what is it that you're concerned about? And if it would be helpful beyond that, you want to book a complimentary conversation with me, then use the link in the description below and we can have a no pressure, completely complimentary, free conversation around what your challenges are with your finances, but also help you to leave that conversation with personalized, tailor-made action items that will help you to move forward. I hear nothing but good things about these conversations that I get to have with women about money, and I would love to be able to support you in that way if you are stressed about it in this season. We have to get clear on what is this about? The question I would love to ask is, what is the biggest challenge holding you back from creating financial freedom right now? Is it you feel like not making enough? Is it that you make more than enough, but you have no idea what's going on with it? Where is it going? How to maximize it? There's too many options. It's information overload. What is it that's really kind of frustrating for you in this season and challenging? But beyond that, what are you afraid of? What are you concerned will happen if things don't go well for you financially? I know when I talk to women, they'll mention, not being able to create the lives that they really want to see through for their children. I'll talk to a lot of moms. They want to make sure that their kids are taken care of. And so they're also concerned sometimes that they're going to repeat the same patterns that their parents or their family members have created when it comes to money. And so they're terrified of kind of reinventing, what is it called? History repeating itself in their journey. And that's something that's really scary for them. And so when we're talking about money, oftentimes we're talking about more than money. We're talking about what we learned growing up. We're talking about what we didn't learn. We're talking about trauma sometimes. We're talking about pain. We're talking about choices that we've made, mistakes, and having to grow. And we personalize finance, I think, a lot and begin to create or attach ourselves to an identity with money as opposed to allowing it to just be this thing that we learn how to manage, that we deal with, and that doesn't have to mean such serious things about us, like I'm a failure or I'm bad with money, so that means there's something wrong with me or whatever the case is. And so if you're worrying about money, then understanding these deeper things will help you know what direction to go in. And so when I talk to students, I'm always thinking about these three things. And in our community, we always circle back to these timeless principles. The bottom being awareness, right? And so I always suggest the book, The Lies We Tell Ourselves, The Psychology of Self-Deception. This is a book by Dr. Courtney Warren, and it's about psychology, but it can be, transferred to how we deal with our finances, because it's really about what are our limiting beliefs around money and how are those beliefs dictating essentially, right? How we show up in the world and in our relationship with money. So once you become aware of what these underlying things might be, why are you really worried? Is it you care what people think about you? Is it that you are afraid of judgment or rejection? Is it that you are terrified that, you're not going to be able to retire? Like, understanding these underlying things and becoming aware of them gives you the opportunity to do this next part of the triangle, which is accept. So once you become aware, you then have to accept. Well, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. You can accept or you can avoid. And oftentimes, right, I talk to a lot of women who avoid. So they avoid looking at their money. They avoid budgeting. They avoid, like just talking about money. Like it doesn't feel good for them. And so they avoid it. They turn the other way. And while it is one option, it often doesn't lead to the results that they truly want. And to have the financial freedom, and I'm assuming the flexibility of your time, your energy, and how you do what you do when you do it, will likely require for you to accept your current circumstances so that you can do the next piece. And real quick, it was like January 2017 when I started reading The Smart Money Woman. And it's actually right there. My cousin gave it to me for Christmas, and I never read the books that he gives me for Christmas, but I started reading this one for whatever reason. I calculated my net worth for the first time, right? Awareness. This book was making me aware of my finances. Calculated my net worth. It was negative $70,000 roughly. And I had an opportunity to accept or avoid what my situation was at that moment. I chose to accept it so that I could pay attention. And that's the third thing in this like triangle of creating a foundation for financial change, lasting, sustainable financial transformation, is paying attention. And so that's changing our relationship with money, because if we're avoiding, we are not paying attention. We're distracting ourselves. We are, turning a blind eye, pretending like the problem's not there, or just forcing ourselves to deal with the fallout of not paying attention long term, right? Usually it's like a domino effect that leads to things that are not so fun. But when you pay attention and you begin to heal your relationship with money, you get clarity as far as like what's going on with your money right now, what you want to start seeing happen with it, and the long-term vision for your future. That in and of itself is like a breath of fresh air. And so if I had to guess, I would say that you lack some clarity in your journey when it comes to what's really going on, not just mentally and emotionally, but with your finances, like your dollars and cents, what they're doing, where they're going. And often when I do calls with ladies, they will leave that conversation with clarity, and they will already have a sense of peace, because of being able to speak about money out loud with somebody who isn't going to judge them and share some insights on what might be helpful for them moving forward. And so who can you talk to about this topic? Is it your partner? Is it your therapist? Do you already have a coach in this area? Or do you need to reach out to me? Like, what does that look like for you? Because often when we isolate ourselves and we're just operating in a vacuum in our mind, it's so easy for the lies we tell to take over and keep us stuck, keep us on this hamster wheel with these thoughts that aren't actually true. Because I talk to people all the time, and when we look at their finances, they're actually in a better position than they thought. They actually have more leeway than they thought. They actually have more power than they thought. They have more possibility than they thought, but they weren't paying attention. So things have just been frivolously coming and going, and they have nothing to show for all the money that they're earning. And so one simple tweak could be the game changer for you in this season of your life when it comes to your finances. And I speak that clarity finds you in some way in the next 24 hours. That would be really cool if you come back and you're like, this is what happened from watching this video, or at least, since I watched this video. Maybe it's not because you watched this video, but, how can you become more aware of your situation, to be honest with yourself about why you worry, what you're scared of, and why you're frustrated. Decide whether you're going to accept or avoid. At least you can decide consciously and say, you know what? Yes, I'm avoiding my finances. This is a choice that I'm making. Do it empowered. Or say, all right, I'm going to accept that this is where I'm at, but this isn't where I have to stay. And then what are you going to pay attention to? Are you going to pay attention to how you can, in small ways, slowly but surely evolve in your relationship with money over time to get to a different place? Because if I had to guess, who you are today is evolved from who you were 6 months ago, a year ago, 10 years ago when it came to money. I have to assume that you have grown in some ways when it comes to your finances from the past to now. So if that's the case, then that means you have the opportunity to continue to grow. That 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now, you are in a completely different place when it comes to your finances. And I talk to ladies all the time who this is a situation for. Like Astrid, who joined our community in 2020, and she did not want to have a business. She had watched an interview I did with Anthony O'Neill, and she had started working on her personal finances, ended up paying off over $40,000 of student loans. Then she decided to leave her community mental health job because she felt called to serve in a community that didn't have a lot of therapists that looked like her, and was able to leave her 9 to 5, build an emergency fund in her business even, and has been in business since 2021, I think, going on 3 years or so, something like that. All of these things unfolded because she became aware, because she accepted where she was at and knew she didn't have to stay there if she didn't choose, and paid attention. Now she's celebrating things like $25,000 in high yield savings, growing her business, being a single mom of a beautiful daughter, and having the flexibility to have to pick her up in the middle of the day with ease. Their plans are their time is their own, and they can make plans based on how they want to live their life, not based on how they think they have to live their lives. So 4 years ago, she was a completely different person with money than she is today. And it is a pleasure to be able to just contribute to stories like that, to women's lives like that, because I do believe the world is a better place when women have money. That when you take care of money in your own life and you're no longer stressed and worried about your finances, we can close that tab out. I don't know about you, but I always have 10,000 tabs open on my computer at any given time. But when we close out the money tabs, that it frees up this energy and bandwidth for us to reallocate that energy wherever we want it to go in our lives, to our health, our spiritual walk, our relationships, our career, the impact we want to have, our legacy. And gosh, what would the world look like if more of us had that space and that time to focus our energy in other ways, in other places. So I'm speaking nothing but joy and peace in your personal finance journey, that you are walking into a completely new season, and that amazing, miraculous, unexpected good things happen to you in your money journey from here on out, regardless of the challenges you might face. You feel a sense of stillness no matter what, because you have more clarity on what you're doing, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. The 3 things that typically are needed to create sustainable change are strategy, systems, support. Do you have one or all 3 of those? If you're missing one, you might need to make sure you get it. If you have all 3, do they need to be tweaked to be updated to where you are in this season of your life right now? Nothing but gratitude and appreciation for any time that you spend with me. I truly, 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 truly am grateful. And hopefully you enjoy this next video that will maybe give you a little bit more inspiration and tangible tools to move forward toward financial freedom.